Hi, this is Jaswal and welcome to the episode. In this episode, you are going to learn more about RectTransform. RectTransform is the new component that replaces the traditional transform component on all new UI element. Whereas the transform component represented the position, rotation and scale of a 3D object in a scene volume, the RectTransform represents a simple 2D rectangle. Here, it's a simple 2D rectangle. It does include the position along the z-axis as well as rotation and scale. So the element can be manipulated in the scene volume as a 3D object. Now as you can see, the rect transform has got position x, position y and position z. Now the the z-axis positions are given so that you can manipulate in the 3D as a 3D object in the scene volume. Also, there is scale X and scale Y and scale Z. Now, what is the difference between resizing and the scaling? Because as you can see, there is a width component and a height component. So, what exactly happens? Let me show you. When you basically resize, when I try to resize, you can see the font is not changing. The borders, the font, all those part of this component or rather the element is not changing, and any of the child element components or other elements will not change. But if I try to scale it, now if I'm trying to scale it, I'll select the button. Now I'll try to scale the button. You see the font is also changing. So what happens is, when you scale, even the child components and its elements also gets scaled up. But when you resize using the rectangle, only the width and height of that particular element gets changed. That is the difference between resizing and scaling. Now you are going to learn about the blueprint mode and the raw edit mode. So when the blueprint mode is off, you can see that the rect transform shows the rectangle around the button. For example, for this button, it is the rectangle is being shown around the button, and you have to if you want to expand or contract the button, you have to do it using the corners. If you select the blueprint mode, then basically you can change it using horizontal and vertical along the horizontal and vertical axis, and the corners will be shown like this. This is the difference basically between the blueprint mode and the blueprint mode is this one. And now when you switch off the blueprint mode, the next thing is this, the raw edit mode. When the raw edit mode is off and you change the pivot, you can see the pivot point moves, the button stays where it is, and the position changes as per how you change the pivot point. Now if you enable the raw edit mode, the button changes instead of the pivot. The pivot remains where it was, the button is changing, and you see the position X and position Y doesn't change. So this is how the enabling and disabling of the raw edit mode works. One important difference between the rect transform and the traditional transform is the concept of anchoring, which has been introduced for the new UI elements. You will be learning more about those in future episodes. So keep rocking and happy coding.